It's Don Brown. Yeah. I'm a fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Play good, be humble. Number 17, the captain. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Ay, I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Just like Rico, going live, talking to my people. Cause the team's driven like West Hurt. Other teams can't, it's a repo. The opponents gotta call up Triple O. Bills Mafia, we heating up, we too electrical. We got Beane the plug, electric show. We wired up, hit up Rico, he fired up. We know where we stand on the power ranking. Other teams fans in the comments.
What's good, everybody? It's the Rico Report brought to you by the Buffalo Fanatics. We here, we chilling, and we got some things to talk about. But I won't be joined. I'll be joined by some good folks. You know what I mean? My Tuesday night partner in crime, my guy Carl Jones, will be joining us in just a little bit. But listen, folks, welcome to another edition, folks. Woo! What a week it has already become. Firings are happening. Listen, man, it's one of those situations where you didn't expect some firings to happen. It's catching people off. Somebody said, yo, Rico's at the DoubleTree. Yeah, it kind of feels like it, doesn't it? Firings are happening. I don't know what's going on. The Cincinnati Bengals are buns. The San Francisco 49ers, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know whether to call this parity around the league or I have no idea what to call this, right? So we've got that we're going to tackle in just a moment. By the way, I just want to make everybody sure. How's my mic? How's everything sounding? Listen, I'm not in my elements right now, man. I mean, the lighting's all off. I got a bedroom in the background, fam. It's nasty work, but we got to make it work because we got football to talk about. And we're doing the handheld microphone, man. I might just get fancy with it and start talking like this. But, you know, we're going to get it cracking today. What do we have on the docket? All right, we got Josh Allen is on the docket. Sean McDermott is on the docket, right? Robert Saleh, they're firing the Jets and how they did it in the AFC East. Did it give the Jets a boost to take down the Bills this week? What a time they get fired and how it's getting done. Are the receivers not helping Josh enough? Do we trade for a receiver or do we stay put? There's a whole lot of things that we need to talk about, and I'm going to be not doing it on my own. I'm going to have my guy Carl Jones join me tonight. So, folks, if you guys are tuned in for the very first time and you guys are just wondering who the heck this is, my name is Rico, and this is the Buffalo Fanatics. Do me a favor, smash that like. Get in there. Let's get this video to 250 likes, and then once Carl Jones jumps on here, let's get that thing to 500. I'm sure we can do it. Let's roll. And without further ado, my guy, Carl Jones for News Buffalo. Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm all good, big dog. Good to see you, man. What hotel are we in, though? If it's not a DoubleTree, where we at?
Listen, we are at the Choice Inn. I don't know where. Listen, man, though, everybody's trying to cut costs around here, man. Work got me traveling, and then I'm looking for, you know what I mean, the high end. They're like, nah, bro, these are your two choices: quality or the choice. Pick. I was like, all right, bro, whatever it is that gives me close to the food and all that good stuff, we here now. So
anywhere you can lay your head. That's all that matters.
Hey, man, if I lay my head, listen, the bed is not as comfortable, but I mean, listen, man, we here. So let's get this party cracking. We're just going to get into Robert Saleh real quick. So here's what's happening, by the way. And by the way, you're getting a lot of love lately, and I love it. I love it. My guy's getting love. So let's get right to it. Wayman Brown comes in and says, yo, short answer, nope. No excuses all around. We're going to get into that, Wayman. Golly, we're going to get into that. Appreciate that super chat. Robert Saleh. I'm hearing so many things as to why this brother got fired, right? First off the rip, it's saying that, I mean, obviously people are making their speculations. This firing could have happened last year, but they gave him an opportunity to see what this really good defense can do with, obviously, the likes of Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers is healthy. He goes through a whole offseason, preseason, and the Jets are 2-3. So I point the microphone to you, sir, and your thoughts on the Robert Saleh firing. Was it justified? Did they give him enough time to turn this thing around with a poor playing Aaron Rodgers, or was it time? It needed to happen right this second. And how they did it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. First off, let me go to like how they did it. The reports are kind of conflicting on that. You have some reports that said my boy had no heads up. He walked into the building. They escorted him in handcuffs and said, "You got to skedaddle." I'm kind of exaggerating that a little bit, but they basically didn't even allow a team meeting. And then you have other reports that said he was in the building, had spoken to some staffers about maybe wanting to relieve Nathaniel Hackett, the Jets offensive coordinator, of his play calling duties. And then minutes later, that's when Woody Johnson, the Jets owner, came down and said, "You got to skedaddle." Then I don't know what the true story is. It's probably something in the middle. We'll get it later on in someone's nice autobiography that's going to drop, right? Having said that, I think his firing was justified. Personally, I thought that his time in New York probably should have been over with this offseason. I think that
All right.
Yeah, I think that and listen, I understand he was dealt a really, really rough hand with the Zach Wilson era and how he didn't really live up to that end of the bargain. However, he vouched for Zach Wilson. That was his guy, and coaches and GMs all the time vouch for players in that regard. And it wasn't just Zach Wilson that didn't play well. The entire offensive structure never looked coherent at any point. I mean, we see coaches all the time figure out ways to have a functioning offense for at least a half of football, one game. I mean, we see what Sam Darnold's doing in Minnesota right now. Obviously, he has much more talent around him than what the Jets had, but they never got anything coherent going on down there. There's some other examples of that. I'm just saying, I think it's wrong to do it. If you were going to do it, you might as well just let the season ride out at this point, because their offense is the issue right now, and he controls the defensive side of the ball. So I don't know what firing him does in that regard. It sounds like some power struggle stuff that starts with the owner that's always had his too much involvement on the day-to-day operations, and that's how bad organizations stay bad.
See, I have a thought on picking your head coach. You can't pick a head coach that is I don't want to use the word simp, because it's not the case. I don't want to use that, but you have to be able to have control over whoever comes in. I cannot, for the life of me, and I don't think I would ever think this coach would let that happen. Let's just say Aaron Rodgers plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ain't no way he's skipping all camp and not getting repercussions for that. That's number one. Ain't no way I'm celebrating a touchdown and I go for an embrace and you give me the two-hand stop in your tracks and then mouth something to me and walk off. Can you see that happening to Mike Tomlin? Heck no. Can you see that happening to Mike Vrabel? Doubt it. Can he do that to even McDermott? I doubt he'd do that to McDermott. So the disrespect started from the offseason. There was never any respect for your head coach, because if you have respect for your head coach, you have respect for the organization. This ayahuasca nonsense that you got pulling off and this, that, and the third, bro, you got to show up for your teammates. So now you're 2-3. And I think Emmanuel Acho said it today. He goes, bro, I don't know if you saw this clip. You're not the defensive coordinator of this team. Although the defense is doing their job, you're the head coach. So you got to take control of this thing. And it never did. So now this whole firing, the angle that I see it from is like, listen, I got time to salvage this season. I don't think we're going to salvage this season with a coach that seems to have lost control of the quarterback, his offense. Nobody's respecting him. Cut ties right now. Now, escorting him, if that's the truth, that's wild, right? Not giving the man a chance to even address his teammate, his staff, his whole team. I'm getting fired, bro. Listen, there's much love. I didn't even get a chance to do that. The ultimate disrespect in that regards, it's odd to me. And lastly, the demotion. Hey, we're about to give Todd Downing the position, and I mean, what's his face?
Nathaniel Hackett.
Nate Hackett, you gotta go. First of all, I'm not a big fan of Nate Hackett. I remember him at Buffalo. I thought he was the most predictable offensive coordinator. He had one good year with the Green Bay Packers, and then they made him. Was it Green Bay? Where did he had one good year?
Yeah, with Green Bay.
Yeah. And now you got another shot. Yo, you're doing the same crap with that offense that you were doing in Buffalo. Predictable. We know what you're doing, and on top of that, Aaron Rodgers ain't playing well. Just a hot mess. I feel for the Jets. now the Jets are in a weird spot. Who takes over as your main guy? And now you're looking at who for leadership? Aaron Rodgers for leadership? That boy ain't a leader. He's about himself right now. He's 40. He's got one more year and he's out of here. So he's trying to do what he can. What a disaster. Here's another rumor I saw. Buddy was wearing a Lebanese. He had a patch, a Lebanon on his arm. Now, I don't know how true that is, but the minute Woody Johnson or whoever the owner saw that, he was like, you got to get out of here. We ain't doing that. It's political nonsense. Who knows? Like you said, it's all going to come out in the wash. We'll find out soon enough to see what it is. But what a weird, wacky NFL beginning of the season it has been. Because if you look around, and this is my next topic here, parity. Do you call this parity in the league? Or is it just weird that just some teams that are not supposed to be winning are winning, and the teams that are supposed to be winning are looking kind of pedestrian? How are you assessing the landscape of the NFL right now?
A little bit of both. I think some of it has to do with the fact that until we get to Halloween, you really don't know who's who and what's what. Like with the NFL, just with all of the moving parts, and we think this game is played on paper and spreadsheets when it's actually played between the lines. So we do all offseason thinking we know what's going to happen, and then lo and behold, the Vikings look like the best team in football. So like things change, and until we get to about the week 8, week 9 mark, we don't know what we don't know. And then also, I think that some teams got to figure some stuff out. I mean, we've seen that time and time again. I'll say this for everyone in the chat that's listening to this. You guys are fans of the Buffalo Bills, so y'all know what it looks like for a team to struggle in September and October, and then lo and behold, raise Lombardi trophies. Y'all saw it for 20 years straight with how the Patriots did it. I mean, every damn year I heard the Patriots were done, right? Buffalo had a front row seat to that. They thought, oh, this is the year that the empire falls off. So I think things change, and guys have to adjust, and this goes to team by team basis. I think some teams have the talent to fix things around and turn things around. I mean, look at last year, for example. I know a lot of people were frustrated with how the Bills' offense looked, and then Ken Dorsey gets canned, Joe Brady elevates, and the offense hits the ground running and then lose again into the postseason. So parity, of course, that's what makes the NFL so great and the best league in all of professional sports. But it's still early, and I think teams are still learning some things, and some teams are behind the 8 ball and probably too deep to dig themselves out of the hole, probably like the Rams. The Bengals are on that cliff. So some of that, I mean, it's a little bit of everything, and not to play a little Switzerland right here, but it's a whole bunch of everything for sure.
It absolutely is a whole bunch of everything. I'm gonna run through what the AFC conference looks like. So your 7th squad team are the LA Chargers at 2-2. Then you got Denver Broncos at 3-2 at the number 6 squad. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-2. Buffalo sitting at 3-2 with a chance to really kind of like separate themselves from the Jets if they can. That'd be great. Baltimore is on a 3-win skid right now, or 2-win skid, excuse me. You got the Texans at 4-1. My gosh, what a game that was. And then the Kansas City Chiefs back on top yet again at 5-0. It's absolutely wild. And listen, you got the Jets at 2-3, the Raiders at 2-3, Dolphins 2-3, the Colts at 2-3, and every last one of these guys are still vying to really push. Like you said, you got to wait till past October. Halloween is done. All the scary stuff is done. Then we get to real football in November. And that's hopefully when these guys start to get together. NFC, the Vikings undefeated. The Washington Commanders, what a beautiful story that is. 4-1. Detroit 3-1. And then you got a mix of everybody, like 3 all the way down to team 10 are 500 or better. My goodness. And it's like you said, man, the NFL is so much better when there's parity, and you love to see it. So big shout out to what's going on right now. You don't know what's going to happen until the middle of the season. Now you'll start to see teams separate, and we hope that the Bills fall into that category. So we shall see. So speaking of falling into place and falling into category, I'm going to get right into the nitty-gritty, man. And now before we get into the nitty-gritty, folks, jump in and smash that like. We are here talking Bills football around the league, but more specifically, we're going to get into what everybody's talking about in Buffalo. Everybody's talking about that as a Bills fan, and that is this offense. That is Sean McDermott. That is Josh Allen. That is a whole kit and caboodle, like some like to say. I don't really use that terminology, but the kit and caboodle. We got to talk about it all. And I got my guy Carl Jones here with me so we can get into it. So first things first, McDermott. I got to get into my man McDermott. First of all, is it warranted for all the criticism that McDermott is taking right now? Not for the past, because he's taking it, but I know you got to look at the past so you can look at what's going on right now, because some folks are saying it's a pattern. It's a pattern of not doing your job very well. And I even hate to say it because I'm a fan of McDermott. I like McDermott. But this is a results-driven business, and right now you have your team on a 2-game losing skid, and the way you just lost this last game, national media is absolutely roasting his ass on a open campfire. They are making s'mores out of my man McDermott. Is it warranted for him taking the blame based on how this game was lost and certain things that were happening in this game?
I think that, I mean, it always starts at the top. I mean, no matter in what business that you're in, and especially in the National Football League, there's questions on how the end of the game sequence went, and should they have, should they have passed 3 straight times? Should they have run 3? The style of pass. I will say he did take full responsibility for how the game went at the end, especially. Same with Joe Brady. They both regretted how it went down. And then some things is out of his control. Like, he doesn't control the fact that the receiver core may not be up to speed, or just may not have the requisite skill set to do the things that are required to win in one-on-one coverage. I mean, he's not out there blowing coverages. I'll say that as well. Sometimes the guys on the field take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, as the head man in charge, we just saw Robert Saleh not take the fall, but get canned for some things that are out of his control. And when you're the head man, that's sometimes how it works. And if you're a Bills fan, I think there is a reason to feel frustrated, because this isn't the first time that maybe time management has been a criticism. Like, if this is a one-off thing, it's for example, like, I love Kyle Shanahan. I love everything that his offense and how it runs out there in San Francisco. But if you follow anyone in the Bay Area, his time management is like the worst that's ever existed. And if it pops up again, you're like, damn, like, they have a reason to be upset. And so I think Bills fans have a similar gripe with Sean McDermott. Needless to say, is it like some criticism where it's like, man, Zach, you funny. But is it like some criticism where he needs to be on the hot seat? No, I don't think that's warranted at all. But something where it needs to be fixed for sure if they want to raise a Lombardi trophy, hopefully.
I got Walter trying to be a funny man here. He goes, guys are too hard on McDermott. He's a young coach, only in his 8th year as a head coach. Everybody knows that a head coach really starts to learn after year 12. Yo, you're a clown, Walter. So here's my beef with all of this. And people are going to call me a McDermott apologist. And I don't care if y'all call me a McDermott apologist, because I get it. As the head coach, you have to take blame for others' blunders because you're the head guy. It falls on you. But I get kind of sick and tired of, like, when you look at the defensive side of the ball, I get it. He's been slandered in the playoffs because his team doesn't show up. Let's be real. Let's be honest. It doesn't show up to where we need it to, especially with a defensive-minded head coach. We already get that part. But this specific issue is Brady's issue. And this is where I have an issue with it, because this is where McDermott has to take the fall for Joe Brady's blunder, right? Damned if McDermott is a micromanaging head coach where he's telling, no, run the ball. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. We used to say, stop getting involved, McDermott. You're the head coach. Take care of everything. Let the offensive coordinator call their plays. Don't get involved, because that was the rumblings when Brian Daboll was here. It was always Brian Daboll wants to do this, but McDermott wants us to be a run team. So you got to run the football and get out of the way, McDermott. All right. So McDermott steps out of the way. So now Joe Brady is got full control of his offense. He's calling plays. So when it calls a trick play, that ain't McDermott. You know that's a McDermott, but he's got to take the blame for it because Joe Brady's making that call. And Joe Brady admitted, yeah, that was a bad call. It was my bad. You know what I mean? I thought it was the right move. Nah, bro, it wasn't the right move right from jump. All right. Then you have this 3 straight shots downfield from Josh Allen. Bruh, that ain't McDermott. McDermott is usually a conservative guy. He's got to trust his offensive coordinator to put the team in the best position. And he has to now take blame. I take full responsibility. That's not him calling the plays. That's Joe Brady. So I feel like it's harsh to put it all on on coach, but there are some time management that falls on him. If he's got to be in Joe Brady's ear, be like, all right, listen, you're calling plays, but listen, be mindful, be efficient, do what you got to do. Let's try to kill as much clock. Do with what you want with the information I just gave you. It feels like there was no communication given to Joe Brady. Joe Brady was given carte blanche. Do what you got to do. On the flip side, you got 17 back there. How do you not leave the ball in 17's hands and make him make a play? Because let's just say he hits Mac Hollins, and Mac Hollins is running for a 99-yard touchdown pass. Josh Allen is a G. Josh Allen is a this. Joe Brady just dialed up the balls on him. So, like, it's you can't have it both ways as a fan. You got to appreciate that they gave the opportunity for Josh to go do it. But then when do you play smart football and when do you try to go for the win? And are you as conflicted as I am, or do you feel it's black and white, bro? You got to waste time, kill as much clock as possible. I know they got 3 timeouts, but you got to try at least to try to take this into overtime, because right now we've seen the landscape of how this game is going. The momentum hasn't been really on your side. Are you looking at it that way? Do you see it completely different?
Before the punt landed at the 2-yard line, I would have been all in on giving Josh Allen one last opportunity to make this passing off.
It's true.
But
that punt was amazing, bro.
Yeah. So, but once the ball landed there, I probably would have shifted my focus to just get a first down and let's get the hell up out of here, because I think you were relying on too much of a prayer to make that work, considering you had no timeouts and your passing game just hadn't worked to that point anyways. And you were backed up, and things can get wonky when you backed up. You don't got a lot of time. Like, Josh doesn't have the time to make things shake because he takes a snap in the end zone. So you're already playing at a deficit there. It's different when he's taking a snap near midfield where he's not at risk of getting a safety. So personally, that's how I would have rocked out. I don't have an issue with passing, though. The issue for me was the decision-making to go down the field. And when you watch the film back, there were options underneath. I think there were just it was just maybe Josh, maybe getting a little too excited to make some plays. Yeah, I mean, whatever the case may be, maybe there should have been a play call to where he doesn't have the option to try to be Superman, right? So I wouldn't have just ran it 3 times. I would have just focused on getting a first down and see what happens from there. We see that all the time where a team goes, hey, let's get a first down, and if it doesn't work out on this first play, we'll take it to the half, or we'll go take it to OT. I would have approached it the same exact way.
And I'm with you as well. Although it's tough to how do you not trust 17 to make the right play? It's tough not to, right? But there comes a time where sometimes you got to take that decision out of 17's hands and say, hey, listen, I know you want to go for the gusto, but I got a bigger picture here. So let's chill out and let's do what we got to do. We got overtime. Let's go do that. And I thought we had an absolute opportunity to regroup and try to figure out how we can get this dub. And we really pretty much just gave the win. It feels like it, that we gave the win to Houston. And you saw the results. The Bills lose for the second straight time. Let's stick on that Texans Bills game. Let's go Stephon Diggs for a minute. Steph Diggs, man. Listen, as a fan of football, I'm a fan of Stephon Diggs. Do I like the circumstances of how everything shaped out? No. Hated it. I would have loved him to still be on the squad and rocking out and doing all the good stuff. But I mean, listen, the circumstances are the circumstances. He had to leave. They had to make a decision. He out of here. How good do you think it felt for my man to get that win over the Bills? Was he you heard him say, he's like, I tried to contain myself as much as I can. But after the game's over, you're Stephon Diggs. Aren't you trying to make the embrace between your ex-quarterback and yourself a little more showy for the people, or do they really just dislike each other and that's what it is?
I mean, they did enough. I mean, they embraced for 5 seconds, and I think that's all that. Anything more, it might have been viewed as fake, I think. And then so that's kind of how I viewed it, considering that Josh had spoken earlier in the week that they hadn't spoken since the trade had went down. So I think if you sit up there and talk for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, it comes off as disingenuous for the cameras, in my humble opinion. Yeah. But it was cool to see him embrace with the other members of the team because of how the warm-ups turned out. he wasn't able to really embrace with the guys pregame like it is with other teams. I don't know if anyone who's ever seen Stephon Diggs warm up, he comes out at a certain time to where he doesn't really have time to interact with the other team. It just the schedules don't mesh up. Like this would have happened. Yeah, it would have happened pregame, but it just didn't work out. It wasn't like he was avoiding them. Like as someone who's seen Diggs like warm up, I promise you it didn't. It just didn't line up.
That's just the way he does it. Yep.
Yeah. But after the game, separate of Josh, it was cool to see him embrace with Christian Benford. I thought that was cool.
They got actually really tight in that. I don't know if it's I'm frozen or my man is frozen himself, but that was a tight embrace with him and Christian Benford. I thought that was fantastic. I thought it was great. You're back again. Okay.
I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like seeing Christian Benford. It looked like that was a friendship, like they had on that squad. Him and Rousseau, tight. Super nice to see that. But then I'm like, man, I would have liked to see a little bit more from him and Steph, but and Josh Allen. But clearly that shows me that they weren't really effing with each other, man. It is what it is.
I'll say this. If Josh Allen wanted Diggs to still be in Buffalo, he would have found a way to mend the relationship enough, A, or B, tell Brandon Beane, hell no. Like when a guy has the key to the city, my man has a billboard in downtown Buffalo. He's damn near the mayor of Western New York, right?
Facts.
If he wanted that relationship to stay, it was the 14 would still be here. I just think that obviously 14 has come out and said that he kind of pressed the issue there, and for whatever reason, we won't know and may never know about why they don't jig or whatever the case may be. They just don't, and I'm happy that at least this chapter is behind us because the football fan in me is just excited to just focus on that side of this instead of the ancillary off the field stuff. And I get it. I understand why everyone else is excited about this. This is what makes sports cool. Like forget the play on the field, like all the stuff that happens. But like Jeff just said, man, everything has a lifespan, and that relationship ran its course. Point blank.
That relationship ran its course, and that's what it is. Salute to my guy Jeff King, man. I hope you're doing well, my man. We got to talk. I got to catch up with you, my guy. By the way, big shout out to my guy Cody Benz. You're supposed to be asleep, my guy, but big shout out to my Cody Benz, and big shout out to those that work overnight shift. I used to be that dude working the overnight shift, that midnight to 8, 6 to 10 p.m. 6 to 10 a.m. Bro, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but listen, folks, it is what it is. Your boy is on nights. Off the nights is on days. Cody Benz, soon you'll join me, man. Soon you'll join me. Let's move on just a little bit because I want to stay with the Bills, and I'm going to put you on the spot here because you have firsthand knowledge and your opinion. The receiving room it's been under a lot of scrutiny, and there was a lot of optimism during the offseason. I mean, Mac Hollins, although we know he's a journeyman, but I mean, folks were trying to find all the positivity in bringing in Mac Hollins. MVS, all right, he's got some experience. He's got speed. That'll stretch the defense. That'll give opportunity to Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir he's having a solid season. Nothing too gaudy, but it's having a decent year. Keon Coleman, he's a rookie, so we get it. He's going to have his bumps along the way. I anticipated that he wasn't going to have a strong start. I thought he was just going to have some bumps along the way, and it seems to be going into the direction that I thought it would go. And lastly, you've got Curtis Samuel on the squad, and he's been pretty much relegated to the screen guy, right? I bring all these guys up, Kincaid, Dawson Knox, James Cook. I bring all of this up because during the offseason, you've been watching these guys all offseason. In your opinion, what the hell's changed, right? What am I missing here? Like all offseason, they're bigging these guys up that they're going to do big things. First 3 weeks of the season, the games, these Bills are 3-0. These last 2 games, bro, we looking like buns right now. Help me out. We looking buns right now. Listen, help me out, Carl Jones, man. What the hell happened from offseason to now? And what did you see in the offseason that was promising? And what the hell's changed? I'm putting you on the spot, but I need to put you on the spot because you are an insider, man. You got to let me know.
For one, the reason why there was so much optimism in the offseason is because it's the offseason. That's what happens in the offseason. You always look on the positive side of things, no matter how bleak things look. And things didn't look bleak in the offseason, I will say that. And then also, I will say there is something to speaking positivity and positive reinforcements, because you lift the group up in that regard. And I think that is something I will give Josh Allen a lot of credit for. But this everybody eats thing, and this is going to be a selfless group. That does help out an inexperienced, youthful group around him that maybe feel the pressure of replacing a Stephon Diggs, feel the pressure of stepping into a team that is competing for a Super Bowl. So you tell guys like, hey, man, it's not one of you guys I'm relying on. I'm relying on the group. So that it makes sense why the group within is preaching that.
Okay.
Having said that, in the offseason and when we were at training camp, I did always kind of feel as if they always needed a dude. You just need someone to draw coverage no matter what it looks like, whether that's Dalton Kincaid in this scenario. Would have been wishful thinking it would be Keon Coleman in September. Like, hey, maybe it happens in December. But it would have been wishful thinking what happened this early, and then even a Khalil Shakir. It's this modern defenses are too dang good, too dang smart, too explosive to just say, hey, all you guys just will do this collectively as a group. Like, no, those guys get paid too. Those defensive coordinators get paid too. And those guys have egos just like you and I. And if you were to tell a defensive back, like, hey, man, what you mean? Like, I got this dude across from me. He ain't on nothing. Like, what you like? And they take that stuff personal. Like,
as it should.
I'm not Derek Stingley. I don't want to speak for him. But I think we all kind of knew how he felt when Josh Allen went to him on 3rd and 8 or whatever, and with Marquez Valdez-Scantling in front of him. I've been a DB before. You feel a certain type of way when that happens. So,
hell yeah, man.
So I say all that to say things sounded great in the offseason because you want to speak up the group. You want to speak positivity and uplift others. The execution isn't there clearly, and I think some of that falls on the OC, maybe not putting guys in their appropriate positions to shine. Some of that falls on the players themselves, just dropping passes. I mean, Dalton Kincaid is a first-round pick. I mean, the expectations are probably highest on him than anyone else that is a pass catcher. I mean, Dawson Knox got paid too, so him as well. But 2 drop passes weren't great. He wasn't separating as well as you'd like out of a first-round tight end. Because, I mean, to be frank here, a first-round tight end isn't supposed to be someone who blends. Those guys pop. Those guys are supposed to be the difference makers of the group. And for whatever reason, I'm not saying it's just him or Brady or Josh or whoever the case may be. Those guys damn near need to be the focal point of the offense. And that's just one person. Whether that's Curtis Samuel maybe not getting used in the right way. I mean, he's getting used like he's a gadget player, and I know he has that in his tool belt, but I think he has some legit receiver capabilities in his bag as well. And then it hurts a guy like Keon Coleman, who I think can be used all across the formation, but because of the fact they don't have outside receivers, he's only playing on the outside. So there are just a bunch of things where it sounds good on paper until the dude across from you says, yeah, dude, I don't give a shit what your last name is. I'm going to go up and guard you.
Facts. Well, I'm going to say this because I'm going to put you more on the spot. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Carl Jones, Buffalo News. Excuse me, I got to say it right. News4 Buffalo's very own Carl Jones, holding it down with us and kind of giving us some insight, because I think we're all sitting here kind of asking questions on what's there to be excited about in Buffalo at the receiver position, because we're going to get into it a little more. But now I'm going to press you a little bit more on certain guys. And first things first, Curtis Samuel. They brought Curtis Samuel in because there's some familiarity with him and Joe Brady. What the hell's going on with him? And listen, during camp, I didn't hear a whole lot about Curtis Samuel and how he's excelling. I didn't hear a whole lot about him. He was quiet all offseason. So it's almost apropos. So, like, I didn't hear much in offseason, and I'm certainly not hearing much now. But he's athletic as uses, man. I just don't get it. But you saw this firsthand. Is there just no chemistry between those two?
I don't know if it's of a lack of chemistry or his just usage isn't. I'll say this. I think we spoke about this off air in the offseason. If we didn't, I'll speak on it now for everyone else that's listening at the moment. The Bills have a bunch of players, receivers and tight ends, excluding Dawson Knox and Quentin Morris, who are probably best used in the slot. Now, yes, Keon Coleman and MVS and Matt Collins can play on the outside, but your Curtis Samuels and your Dalton Kincaids and your Khalil Shakirs, all those guys are best used right by the hashes. The issue is how many snaps are available for a guy like Curtis Samuel to be used right there. Because if Khalil Shakir is your best guy right there, unless you want to roll out and, let's say, take James Cook off the field every snap, and now you got Keon, because somebody got to play outside. Someone has to be the other outside receiver. Who are you putting over there? Are you putting Matt Collins on the field? Or are you moving Curtis Samuel on the outside? And you know what? I don't think that's a bad idea, but I wouldn't live in that world. I just think they have a bunch of players who operate the same spaces of the field, and it gets a little redundant. So now you're using a guy like a Curtis Samuel in a way that you would use a gadget player, when instead Curtis Samuel may not be the greatest receiver on the planet, but he is a legit receiver who has, I hate using the word gadget, but gadget capabilities. And I don't know how you rectify that, because I'm not taking Khalil Shakir off the field. I'm not taking Dalton Kincaid off the field. So how the hell do you make that work? I don't. I also don't get paid millions of dollars to figure that shit out. But I think it's just for those at home, if you want to use just 4 weapons, right? You got 2 guys on the outside and then 2 guys on the inside. One of these guys on the inside is always going to be Khalil Shakir. The other, more often than not, is going to be Dalton Kincaid.
All right.
You want your second round pick to be one of the outside guys. So that means Curtis Samuel's best use and his easiest pathway to the field is out here. Do you want Curtis Samuel to live out there the whole game? He can do it, but do you truly think that's what's best for him and the offense? I don't. So that's why you're seeing him getting bubble screens the whole time or quick outs and stuff like that, because they're just trying to force feed him the ball when he is on the inside. It's just a tough – I don't know how they rectify it. I seriously don't, without making a move that could bring someone else in here.
Perfect. Which brings me then to my next question. You said it perfect. I don't get paid millions of dollars to make these damn decisions. So then the $1 million question is this. Did Brandon Beane, I'm going to put his name on this bitch. Did Brandon Beane fail Josh Allen? I like Brandon Beane. We all like Brandon Beane. We're a fan of Brandon Beane. Big baller Beane, right? That's what, I mean, listen, I want to tell you everybody right now, Buffalo Fanatics is who coined that big baller Beane, and now it's all over the place. So I'm going to just take our credit right now. Big baller Beane. In Beane we trust. All the Beane this and Beane that and flick the Beane, whatever you want to call it. All right. You got rid of Stephon Diggs. You ate $31 million because he had to go. Fine. You didn't re-sign Gabe Davis, someone that Josh Allen is comfortable with. But most fans would say, you know what? He can go. We're fine. Okay. You did nothing to replace that productivity. So the real question is this. Did Brandon Beane fail Josh Allen, or did Brandon Beane put too much trust in Josh Allen that Josh Allen can operate with these mediocre receivers? What say you? And let me jump in on this real quick, and then I'll let you ponder that one right now, because that's what I'm mulling right now. Did you put too much trust in Josh Allen that you felt that he was good enough to operate with what you gave him, or did you fail him? And right now, the conversation right now is being had that you failed Josh Allen. You failed to give him a operating piece. You said it earlier today. You need a guy that can take some pressure off him. You need some guy that causes a DB to go, all right, there's number 14 over there, or there's number 17 over here. There's nobody saying there's number 1. Oh, there's number 13. Oh, there's number – nah, man, ain't nobody scared of any of the receivers on our squad. There's number 0. Nobody. So you either botched it and you failed your quarterback, and you failing him this year, and you wasted a year, or you had way too much confidence in Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is not capable of dealing with mediocre pieces. You got to give him an X. Am I onto something, or do you feel like there might be something that you could add into that? Because right now, I feel like you failed Josh Allen. You failed him. We know he's capable, but you failed him. You did not give him a piece to replace Diggs, to replace Gabe Davis, and you thought that Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Curtis Samuel, an often injured Curtis Samuel, might I add, a journeyman in Mac Hollins, a rookie Keon Coleman that has no separation, which he's doing quite well against rookies, but we'll talk about that afterwards. And then you have Khalil Shakir, that is the only promising piece that most people can talk about. What the hell, Brandon Beane? You got some explaining to do, my G.
I mean, I think he does take some blame for that, for sure. I mean, he's the one that put the roster together, right? I will say, though, I don't know how much input a Josh, a Joe Brady, or anyone involved with the offensive side of the ball in terms of the construction and the type of receivers they were looking for. Because all offseason, early on, like this is before we even saw them in training camp, they were big believers in this interchangeable offense where anybody can play anywhere. That was a huge – so maybe Beane took that feedback and said, bet we have no problem getting a Curtis Samuel because we can move him all over the formation. We have no problem taking a Keon Coleman. Like, I think that may have been some of it. Having said that, they replaced one outside receiver in Stephon Diggs with Keon Coleman, let's say, but they never really replaced the Gabe Davis. They never replaced that guy. And if that's their Mac Hollins, well then I don't know if Mac Hollins needs to be elevated to that role. They have a bunch of guys who are best used in 2, 3, and 4 receiver spots, and they're pushing everyone up a spot, which then in part makes them look worse than what they actually are. I think if they all had an alpha and slots them in their appropriate spots, I think they will all look really darn good. If you had Keon Coleman going up against the third best cornerback every single week as a rookie early in his career, who knows how he'll turn out? He may end up being a star. But in month one, I don't think it's conducive for him to go up against starting corners every single damn week. It's just a lot to put on his plate, especially for someone who was the 7th receiver taken in a draft. It wasn't like he was the first receiver off the board, right? He's not Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors. And if you guys thought he was, he's not. And that's okay. Who says he can't be great even in December, right? Or down the line. I remember Rashee Rice last year in September, and lo and behold, my man was the hero of the playoffs last year next to Travis Kelce. So things change. Players get better, especially young players. But I think some of this interchangeable, you can move anyone anywhere thing sounds really good on paper until you go up against a defense that says we got no respect for it. And I'm sure they'll have great weeks going forward. They may have one against the Jets, although I highly doubt it. But it's going to be tough living. And I'll just say it'll be tough living in the way that they're moving right now because you need a guy who can just win, period. Like you just need one of those. And at the moment, either don't have it or they're not being used correctly to do it. And I don't know. I've watched enough to think that I don't think it's on the roster, quite frankly. But you're going to need.
That's what I wanted you to say. There you go.
But I mean, I like Dalton Kincaid. I do like him as a player. I just wonder if he was slotted correctly to maybe be the second target on as an opposing. Like if I'm an opposing defense, if Dalton Kincaid was the second guy I focused on, I think he would be better off as opposed to getting Kyle Hamilton.
Bet. So, and I know I got about 10 minutes with you right now, so I gotta watch my time a little bit. So here's my deal. There's a couple things, and I'm gonna let you run. Brandon Beane, you failed Josh Allen. Let's call it buck. And what's gonna be more of an indicative of you failing Josh Allen is it's a lose-lose situation for Brandon Beane, because if he goes out and trades for a player, whether it be Amari Cooper, Devontae, or whoever's available, George Pickens, if they ever decide to move on from him, because they're probably sick of George Pickens over there. Whatever. If you decide to trade for a player, that means you see the talent that you gave Josh Allen and you failed him. And now you're fixing it. And a lot of time, Brandon Beane will do that. He'll start with something and he'll rectify his issue, which is good and bad at the same time, because we need you to be a visionary to see these things ahead of time and have these things work right off the bat. So right now you're having to fix mid-season. Now you got to trade for a player if you do, and now he's got to learn the plays and then get acclimated. Hopefully by near the end of the season, he'll be in football shape enough to kind of get the plays and work. If you don't go and trade for a player, what kind of message are you sending to your team? You know you're drowning. You know your receivers are good enough. Are you just saying, chop it up as we ain't making the playoffs this year because we just going to have to deal with it, take your lumps? Bro, it's a lose-lose situation for Brandon Beane, and he failed my guy Josh Allen. And Josh Allen should be pissed. He should be pissed. And now he's getting concussed. You know what I'm saying? He got cleared. He's getting beat up. He's getting chased out the pocket. And now you're playing a Jets team that is the highest-ranked team that puts pressure on quarterbacks. And by the way, Josh Allen leads the league in 133 yards of scramble yards because he's getting chased out the pocket. Buddy, it's not a good recipe for next week. Oh man, it's something else. So I had to get your opinion on the receiving room, Brandon Beane, and all those things. I mean, it's all gonna have to shake out, but we'll go from there. There's a super chat coming in that was a question. I want you to jump on this one. This is from my guy GQ Bob. GQ Bob says, "Yo, what's up, fellas? This question: if Brian Daboll was our head coach and McDermott was the defensive coordinator, do you think we would have won a Super Bowl by now, or be in a situation we are in now?" I'll let you jump on that. What do you think?
No. If I had to go by, bold it. Last year, unless Brian Daboll was bringing some magic voodoo to magically heal the defense, I don't think that would have fixed anything. Like, if it wasn't the Chiefs that was going to expose those injuries, it would have been the Ravens the next week, and then for sure the best offense in football, the 49ers in the Super Bowl. And then, just point blank period. And then in 2023, you lost to the Bengals. The Bengals loss was bad, but there was a lot going on with the team. You dealt with the bad injuries down the stretch, and then you also dealt with the Damar Hamlin situation. As someone who was around them, they were just emotionally gassed. I think anyone that was around that team can vouch for that. And I'm not saying excuses, but unless Brian Daboll had a pulse to fix those guys in that regard, I don't think that would change anything. The only loss where I can say coaching legitimately failed those guys was probably the 13-second thing. And that, once again, I don't know. That was still the divisional. That wasn't the championship round, and it wasn't the Super Bowl. Yeah. So who knows if they win the next two.
What about the 12 men?
The 12, you talking about with the Broncos thing?
Yeah.
Well, once again, once Matt Milano got down and Bernard, and now you got AJ Klein off the couch. Once again, unless Brian Daboll was himself playing linebacker against Travis Kelce last year, don't know if that fixes anything. And listen, I'm not trying to be an apologist. I just think if we take a step back and just look at the landscape of how things shook out, I don't know.
I got you.
Brian Daboll would have fixed.
Here's one for you. I got my guy Signified Note says, "Yo, I'm concerned we're doing to Josh what the Trailblazers did to Dame Lillard. Ooh, we're taking little to no risk to surround the best player in the franchise history with not enough talent." I thought the Trailblazers had some good talent. They had CJ McCullough out there.
Yeah, he just happened to be in the conference at the same time as Steph and the Warriors.
I know. and the Bills happen to be the same conference as Pat Mahomes. It's just one of those things, man. Phillip Rivers is in the same conferences as Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, bro. It's just the way things roll sometimes. But Signified knows, I see what you're doing there. I appreciate that. We got a super sticker coming in from a man, Spears Bills Sports Talk. Salute to you. Appreciate that. Real talk. Brandon says, "Yo, Rico, where the F is Dawson Knox, bro?" Let me tell you something. Dawson Knox has been the utmost professional. He's getting on the field, but he ain't getting no looks, touches, or nothing. And you don't hear a peep from this brother. Now, he is getting paid handsomely to do a whole lot of nothing. However, if you're a competitor, bro, you're gonna be like, "Yo, are you gonna get me involved in this thing?" Because right now everybody's talking about we can't separate, we can't do this. How about 12 personnel and let's try to figure something out? Because this is where Joe Brady has to come in. Spread offense, like you said, you got a receiver here and a receiver here and two in the middle. Who are you gonna move around? Guess what? Samuel, sit your ass down. You didn't do anything. Let's go 12 personnel. Khalil, Keon, Dawson Knox, Kincaid. Let's see what we got. We gotta try something. Because right now, I'm not saying the season's doomed, but 2 losses in a row, it could go to 3 if we don't get our act together, and we got a damn good defense coming our way. It could be problematic. It could absolutely be problematic. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my guy Carl Jones came through and blessed us, gave us some nuggets. I'm gonna press you some more next time because there's a big game coming up in the Jets, and if this receiver crew continues to kind of, poo-poo the bed.
I got a little bit more. You got anything else?
Yeah,
I got about like 8 more minutes for you. All right,
bet. Listen, my timing is off because I'm in Newfoundland right now. You probably never heard of Newfoundland.
It sounds like some made up place.
So I'm like, when I'm in Nova Scotia, I'm an hour away from you, so I can distinguish what's going on. You move over here, you're 30 minutes more. So I'm an hour and a half different. So I'm trying to make sure and some of my phones didn't work out. Anyway, we here.
I ain't know they do that.
Let me get into this right now. Because I'm looking at what we have going. where the Bills are 3-2 right now, there's a whole lot of speculation as to who we trade for. What is the best course of action for these Bills? Because right now, based on what we see from the offense, it's just not working out. The last 2 games, it's just not. We played the Cardinals, which are a damn good team that just beat the 49ers, but we don't know what the hell the 49ers are, right? So we took down the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are a hot train mech. They're a mess. And then we obviously took down 13 that we took down. I'm trying to think who else we took 13.
The Jags.
The Jags, and we dismantled the Jags. The Jags desperately got a win last week. So a lot of people are saying, you didn't play anybody. So which brings me to now. We got to trade for somebody. we talked about like the way we can bring on a player. The type of player we bring in is what I want to ask you. Do you bring in a route running receiver that gets great separation? Is it a speed receiver? Are we lacking speed? Is that what the problem is? But I thought we had MVS. So what type of receiver is it that we need that can bolster this offense?
I think there are 2 guys who will fit 2 different roles for the Bills that can help them out. I think they have a lack of a spacing issue on offense. For those who play basketball, you ever played on the play pickup and everybody inside the 3-point line? You're like, damn, ain't nowhere to go. There's something to that with how the Bills are playing right now. Like they just don't really have a lot of space. And if you watch the Chiefs and watch them yesterday specifically, Xavier Worthy isn't a great player by any means right now. He still is learning to be even a functional like down to down actual receiver. That's not a guy getting gadget plays.
Yep.
But he has a skill set that makes, as a defense, you have to respect him and always either line up deep or put someone over on top of him because he can change the play like that. And right now, the Bills don't have that. One person who could do that is Courtland Sutton. He's not obviously as fast as Xavier Worthy, but he is a vertical stretch down the field option where you don't want to ever allow him to beat you over the top. He's a player that I don't know if the Broncos would ever move him because why would you hurt your rookie's trajectory in Bo Nix? Like, why would they do that? But he is someone who I would be like, hey, cheaper option in terms of draft capital to get him, and he will fix that way. Like, it's very congested. It's like New York City, like rush hour traffic right now. I ain't nowhere to go. Like, it's truly how it feels. Because if you look at the Chiefs receiver room, it's battered right now. They're down to 2 best receivers, but they still have a skill set that allows all the underneath guys to operate. There's a reason why Juju and Kelsey and Justin Watson and Noah Gray had all that space underneath, because Lil O Xavier Worthy was creating all that space horizontally and vertically. Courtland Sutton can do some of that. And if you don't want to go that route, well, then you need someone who can just win. And I think Amari Cooper fits that best in terms of someone who can just win off the line of scrimmage and be your true XY receiver, to where you're not asking Mac Hollins or MVS to go up against Derek Stingley or take double moves. Brandon, you say about Romeo Doubs. I like Romeo Doubs. I think he's a good player as well. He fits probably more in that route running mold. Will be a little cheaper to get him. You will have him cost controlled, I believe, through next year. So it wouldn't be the worst idea. I don't know how much he elevates the room right now.
Me neither.
But he is a good player. I think Amari Cooper would day one fix that, because Amari Cooper can also go deep. He, as someone who watches the Browns every Sunday, not off to a stellar year, but he can win down the field. Yeah, no,
how do you do it?
For real.
How do you do it?
I don't watch, but but I think those 2 players are some targets. Obviously, the dream is Devontae Adams, and I'm not going to ever poo-poo on that parade. But right now, it is New York City traffic right now for the Bills, and they driving like 5 miles per hour just based off the congestion of the roster.
All right, 2 more questions before you get out of here. I got 2 more for you. All right, real quick, is Khalil Shakir receiver 1?
Oh, I'm very strict on who I give my receiver 1s to. So no, very, very strict. I think there's like 9 in the NFL.
Excellent. So he would be a complimentary piece.
Correct.
So it's
not a knock on Khalil. I'm very strict on who I hand that out to. Yeah.
If they haven't been able to feature Khalil Shakir as receiver 1, and they refuse to make Dalton Kincaid the feature guy on this offense, I don't know what the hell Joe Brady needs. I don't know what he needs. You can't have it all, Joe Brady. You got to figure out, digging your bag of tricks. You got to figure it out, because I'm sick and tired of seeing, 2 targets. Listen, Travis Kelce's 35 years of age. I don't give a damn if he's a future Hall of Famer. He's 35 years of age. And they were finding ways to get that football in that man's hands last night. And he was a problem. You mean to tell me you can't do that with Donkey Cade? Cut it out, man. I'm sick of that. Sick of it. All right, last but not least. Appreciate your time, bro. It's always love. Looking at the totality, I mean, you're looking at this Bills team, seeing what you see right now, and it's super early, but is the season in jeopardy based on what you see happening right now? And if we don't bring anything and we leave it the way it is this team in jeopardy of making the playoffs? It might be early, but I'm going to put it out there now.
At the moment, I don't think so. I think they just ran into two teams who probably will be in the divisional round. I mean, if you tell me, if it fast forward to January 20th and the Texans and Ravens were in the divisional round and possibly the conference championship, you wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So I think they've ran into two buzzsaws. And then also, it's early. Things happen. Teams go through their peaks and valleys. Some teams win while they play like crap, Kansas City, and then some teams lose the past 2 weeks. I know it's a results-based business, but I love to live in the process world of things. For sure. The process not looking good. I'll say that. But it's a long year. I'll allow Joe Brady and Brandon Beane to fix the roster or figure out some other ways to go. Because now they've gotten countered. They threw their jab, and then teams threw the hook. What are y'all gonna do to come back at that? And I think that's the next step. And if you ain't got nothing else, then Lord have mercy, it's gonna be 17 dragging them week in and week out. But I have no concern at the moment in terms of playoff. Beyond, different conversation. Playoff, I don't have much concern.
There's only so much Josh Allen can do when he doesn't have the help. And right now, it's last game was poor play with a combination of receivers not doing enough. So they've got to take that as a challenge, a personal challenge next week to show that they can do it. And right now, it's not looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Jones from News4 Buffalo came through and blessed us. He gave us 8 more minutes, and we appreciate that because Laura was like, yeah, 8 more minutes. Yo, you getting fans out here, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, News4 Buffalo, my guy Carl Jones joining us. And listen, man, I'm gonna be pressing you some more next week. It's gonna be something. So we're gonna see if we can make things crack, man. So listen, I appreciate your time, man, and we'll catch you guys and catch Carl Jones on the flip side, man. Have yourself a great night, my G.
You too, my boy. Be safe.
Yes, sir. Folks, that's my guy Carl Jones. You know what it is, man. He's always coming through and hanging out with me on Tuesday nights, and we've created quite a bond, and we've been able to tackle some really good topics. But the one topic that I just can't shake right now, and it's been on my mind all day, is Josh Allen and the lack of weapons he has on this offense. And he's too freaking good. And they failed him. If you really wanted to help Josh Allen, you failed him by not giving him enough weapons, or you failed him by giving him an offensive coordinator that doesn't seem to kind of have a deep enough bag. Did he go through his bag the first 3 weeks and that's it? He's out? He's out of ammo? He got none left? Like, come on now. Listen, man, when you go a couple rounds with your lady and she wants you to give a 3rd round, 4th round, fam, just give me a minute. I'm going to get back. But this guy got nothing left. He's tapped out. Bro, I need you to wake up, dig in that bag of tricks, and start trying to get creative and get guys open. Like, fam, Curtis Samuel cannot just be relegated to a damn gadget guy. Get him going downfield. He has 4.3 speed. Golly, man, it gets to the point where it's enough. All right, well, if you feel that Josh Allen is good enough to do all that stuff, then fam, maybe you put too much on Josh Allen's plate, because right now, the last 2 games, what did you see? He's getting pressured. He's getting run after. He's getting run out the pocket. He's uncomfortable. These guys ain't getting enough separation. Or Josh Allen is just he's relegated to just because he doesn't have a route running X receiver. And he's now sitting here analyzing on one player. How many times did I see his head just stay here and only here? Fam, you're making it easy for the defense, my G. And you're better than that, Josh Allen. But your receivers got to help you. And this is where it falls on Brandon Beane. F all that coach talk from McDermott. He ain't the one shopping for the groceries. That's your boy Brandon Beane. You went ahead and gave $8 million to my guy Curtis Samuel when you could have brought in Derrick Henry for $8 million. I mean, at least fall on something that you got thunder and lightning running the football. Do you think anybody's afraid of James Cook in the backfield? Let's be honest with each other. Is anybody afraid of James Cook in the backfield? Super good back. I ain't afraid of him. You know who I would be afraid of? Derrick Henry. I would be definitely afraid of Derrick Henry. You put Derrick Henry and Josh Allen in the backfield, you have to respect and bring in a whole bunch of people. We said, nah, bro. James Cook is that dude. I love me Ray Davis. Ray Davis hasn't done diddly squat. Ty Johnson has been a better runner than Ray Davis has. And it pains me to say it, but not really, because I like Ty Johnson. But I thought Ray Davis was going to be that dude. And right now, he's just not finding how he's supposed to be doing things, man. I'm trying to be as objective as honest. Like, I read a tweet, and that really sat with me, right? We got to try to take the fandom out of being analytical on our team and covering our team and try to be as much as objective as possible. And you guys know me. I try to be that way. You guys even get mad at me when I try to look at bigger picture things and, you're just being a this and you're doing that. You're just a hater. Can't win. But at this point, looking at the bigger picture, fam, Joe Brady, right now, things are falling on Joe Brady. Things are falling on Joe Brady. And I know you guys want to blame my man McDermott, and he's the head coach and all that, and I get time management, all that stuff, but right now, who's calling the mother effing plays? That's Joe Brady. Bruh, know what you got. Identify who the hell your stars are. Identify each and everybody's strengths. Have you not figured that out yet? You can't tell me you haven't figured that out yet. You had all offseason to figure it out. Fam, come on now. Shit. Here we go with Dorothy. What's up, Dorothy? You've been in our crawl space the last couple of days. Let's see what she got to say. She said, Dorothy says, Rico, you and Zeba blaming Allen a few days ago. What changed? I'm still blaming Allen. What are you talking about? I didn't change. He played like garbage. But you were mad at me because I was saying, you can't do that to my quarterback. Stop it. Shut up, Dorothy. With all due respect, by the way. Right? But you can't sit here and not blame Josh Allen. He's to blame. He was missing some open guys. He was forcing footballs. Although he hasn't thrown any receptions, which he should have in that game because he threw an absolutely wild pass back into the middle of the field. It gets old when you start rolling to the sideline and rolling. And now we're like, it's either you throw the freaking football away or you're getting crunched on the sideline. Fam, Dorothy, with all due respect, it's okay to criticize your quarterback when he plays awful. But boy, when he plays great, he's top of the world. They had him as the MVP of the league. He was the player of the freaking month in September. And he deserved it because he was playing good football. The last two games, though, not so much. So Josh Allen is not absolved of the blame. But I'm also looking at Brandon Beane because Brandon Beane didn't put enough out for Josh Allen. I get it. You think Josh Allen is an elite quarterback, and I think he is too. I think he's top 3 in the game, top 2. It's him and Pat Mahomes for me. Pat Mahomes is up here, and then you got the rest of them, and Josh Allen's up here. And right now, look what my man is working with. He's working with a 35-year-old tight end. He lost Rashee Rice. He's got Xavier Worthy, the rookie, and he's got Watson, and he's got Juju Smith-Schuster that's been all over the league, and I was making it work. You know what we call that? We call that making the best of what you got. And right now, you can't tell me that Josh Allen he's not making the best of what he's got right now. You got there comes a time, and this is where the Brandon Beane part comes in, because I think this is where Brandon Beane was thinking. Somebody said, so you're saying we need to fire Brandon Beane? Heck no, I like Brandon Beane. But Brandon Beane should be under scrutiny for what he's done to this offense right now based on what he's given Josh Allen at receiver position. Could he have double dipped in the draft? He could have, but he didn't. We were all saying, yo, double dip because we ain't got a whole lot. This is the time to do it. Didn't do that. So be it, right? But Brandon Beane also, in a way, maybe put too much on Josh. And when I say too much on Josh, I mean a lot of trust in him saying, yo, you can make, and I don't want to disrespect the receivers like this, but it's what's on my mind right now. You can't make a chicken shit out of chicken salad, right? Is that what the saying is? right? Josh, you're gonna make chicken salad out of this, man. You got no choice. You got to make it work. But in order to do that, you got to have your offensive corner and your quarterback just in lockstep where they get it. And right now, it's mumbly jumbly. So now we're at a standstill until week 8, I believe, when the trade deadline is. Do you make something happen ASAP, or are you saying he's good enough to go with what he's got now? And if you say he's good enough to go with what he's got now, it's a lot of pressure on Joe Brady, because Joe Brady's gonna have to make that work. And he has to make that work, because if we don't trade for anybody, there's no reason that you cannot get the football to Dalton Kincaid. There's no reason that you cannot feature as best you can Khalil Shakir. And then the other guys play their roles. But somebody's got to step up, man. Somebody's got to step up. Khalil, you're going to have to step up. You're going to have to step up heavy. Heavy. And it was clear that we missed you in this previous game because you saw what happened. But you're going to have to step up heavy. Keon Coleman, you're going to have to step up heavy. Everybody on the offense. The receivers should be pissed off. They should be pissed off. And when they come in next week against the Jets, they should come with a brand new freaking attitude, ready to rip shit, instead of coming out flat. You got to help your quarterback. Because I'll tell you right now, Josh is looking for somebody to freaking get separation so he can get you. But he's got to make the right reads too. So it's all convoluted into one thing. Anyway, your boy's tired. Bills got it. The Bills need this one. This is for us to get separation from the AFC East. And this is for us to, take down these Jets. But we keep playing the way we playing, bro. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough sledding going forward. Definitely tough sledding going forward. Whew. What's up, Dominus? He says, Rico, if you tell Dorothy Josh is not absolved of criticism, which I agree, by the way, then it's only fair Beane ain't absolved too. Bro, I just went off on Beane's ass. What are you talking about? I said Beane's the one that's failing Josh because he didn't give him enough pieces. You did not give that brother enough pieces on the offensive side of the ball. And if you want to push and you want to push as much as you can into the playoffs, you're gonna have to do a lot more. You're gonna have to do a lot more. I ain't pausing shit. Justin Walker's like, pause. No, I ain't pausing anything, man. Anyway, folks, if you guys enjoyed this stream, if you guys enjoyed this pod, do me a favor and smash that like for your boys. Smash that like for the Buffalo Fanatics. Listen, man, if you want to support the Buffalo Fanatics, it's really simple. www.supportbf.com. Everything related to the Bills and to the Buffalo Fanatics is right there in that link. That's how you can support myself. That's how you can support my guy Z-Bot. That's how you can support the whole brand. If this is your go-to podcast and you enjoy what we do, the time that we put in speaking football and sometimes pissing y'all off, and sometimes it really makes it good because it allows us to go back and forth. This is the platform for you. This is where we want to talk football. And I love talking to y'all because I get different perspectives from you guys, and it makes me kind of sit there and kind of do my thing, right? So we out here, man. My man Jeff King, see you on the road. Safe travels. Yeah, I'm on the road, man. I'm in Newfoundland. Boy, I'm in the Rock. They call it the Rock, Newfoundland. So if you guys don't know where Newfoundland is, look up on your map and put Newfoundland. Okay, that's how it is. Newfoundland. That's where your boy is right now. And I'm here for a little bit. I think I might be back here next week. It's gonna be rough. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. We got. I'm gonna try to do a show tomorrow, Wednesday show. I'm gonna try to give you guys a pick'em show. We're gonna do it again, and we're gonna go through the pick'ems from last week, and we're gonna do some pick'ems again tomorrow night. So stay tuned, and we'll get this thing popping. So, folks, enjoy your night, and I'll try to do the same. I gotta get some shut eye because I gotta be up in the morning. So enjoy your night. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Smash that like before you get out of here. If you have not subscribed to the channel, and we'll rock out from there. So until next time, it's your boy Rico. And we'll do this whole dance again tomorrow, and we'll do the dance again on Friday. So until next time, it's your boy Rico's the Buffalo Fanatics. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace. Let's go.
I'm a fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Play good, be humble. Number 17, the captain. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Ay. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Ay. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Just like Rico, going live, talking to my people. Cause the team's driven like West Hurt. Other teams can't, it's a repo. The opponents gotta call up triple O. Bills Mafia, we heating up, we too electrical. We got Beane the plug, electric show. We wired up, hit up Rico, he fired up. We know where we stand on the power ranking. Other teams fans in the comments hating, we block them all. We protecting Josh. Salute to him, he the general now. Rico got legends for interviews. How the Buffalo Bills got the best fan base. Away games, red, white, blue in the crowd. Hey, I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Play good, be humble. Number 17, the captain. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Ay. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Ay. I'm a Buffalo fanatic.